course, I got to say a few words here. I
Okay.
want to say welcome, greetings, and salutations from the AARP Foundation Experience Corps, Chicago. We are so grateful and honored by your presence. We want to say thank you for your time and your commitment. We're so excited to be here this evening with the current. They've created this special presentation just for us here at Experience Corps, and they did it with love. And we've got our branch manager, Greg Brown, in the house with us tonight. Greg, can you say a few words for us?
Good evening, everyone, and always nice to see your faces and connect with you all. Of course, happy Black History Month, even though, we celebrate Black history every moment that we can. And during these difficult times, not only is this a pleasure for us to connect, but it also just reminds me that when we do get back to some normalcy, it's going to be even better. So really looking forward to the activities tonight. And once again, thank you, current staff, for the wonderful partnership. I'm looking so forward to what you all have put together. And anytime Lisa, OS, and Stephen and Don and the crew get together, I don't know what y'all cooking, but send me a plate.
Well, we got that good old gumbo, man. You know that kind of gumbo. You got a little bit of this, you got a little bit of that. You got some seafood, you got some jerk. So this is that kind of a gumbo.
All
You
right,
know,
all right,
and the
bring it
and the
on, bring
fact
it
that
on.
we've had an opportunity to be artistic in this creative mix, using technology, using art, using community, using sense of purpose. I mean, it's just fantastic. And you realize just how great and powerful we are individually. And what we do when we come together, we're an unstoppable army of community service, servants to all. So this is just exciting.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Lisa Dawn Taylor. I'm the publisher and founder of Current magazines. We produce the South Shore Current magazine, the West of the Ryan Current, and the new West Side Current magazine. So we've been in existence for 6 years. The South Shore Current, which many of you may already be familiar with. We that is covers the east side from the lakeshore communities from Roosevelt Road all the way to the end of the city. And 4 years ago, we introduced the West of the Ryan, which is everything west of the Dan Ryan Expressway from Chinatown all the way out to Roseland. And earlier this year, we added in the new West Side Current, which covers the West Side communities. And we're very happy to be able to do that because with those three areas, we pretty much reach most of our communities. And we focus on the good news that invigorates our communities, drives business, and we strive to reflect the values of those communities that are not often shown in mainstream media. So we have been around a while, and one of the effects from the magazine has been that our covers have been we feature artists, photographers from all levels, from emerging artists to some pretty well-known um, professionals. So from that, we decided to bring that alive to the public in uh, the current gallery, right? And that we're in our second location, which is now at 3622 South Morgan, which is in the art district in the Simon Center for the Arts. And you can see, yes. And so a lot of our artists that you will meet tonight have exhibited there and are have been featured on the cover of the magazines, which you can see behind Stephen, because Stephen is
Voila.
right. Stephen is located at our offices in South Shore at 1940 East 79th Street.
Yes.
Okay. And so I'd like to actually share with you our February edition. And then you can see, I can scroll down, I think, and you can see more of the recent publications. I think I can show you how prolific we've been with our covers. Okay. So we've been around a while, so we have a lot. So basically, you will be meeting these artists tonight. First up, we're going to go to Milton Brown, and I want to tell you about Milton before we bring him in. So Milton, I want to tell you a little personal story. I've known Milton my entire life, and we are both longtime residents of Washington Heights on the south side, which is in our west of the Ryan area. And we are both back here. We've been away and then we've been back. And I could just say I have memories of Milton walking me to kindergarten. So, yeah. But he
Yeah.
is, yes.
Heard
So,
that story before.
you've heard that story before, Milton walking me to
I've
kindergarten?
heard this
Yeah.
story.
Right.
I
So Milton and I are basically still neighbors again.
Yeah.
And he's self-taught in metal fabrication, and he'll tell us a little more about how he got into that as we look at his work. But we are going to go to Milton is actually located on site at the current gallery at the Simon Center for the Arts. There he is. Hi, Milton.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing?
Hi, Milton.
Hey,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very wonderful.
Yeah. So
have-
yeah. So our gallery is open for private viewings. If you'd have to contact us to come by, and you have to mask up as Milton is doing right now because it is public, and we want to take all the precautions and abide by all the rules because we want to stay here.
And
So,
we should
Milton-
note that both Lisa and I are in private areas, so we're not masked up. That's the only reason we aren't
the
masked
only
up.
reason, right?
Everyone.
And I don't know if I have to back up because I don't know if I properly introduced Black Butterfly, Mr. Stephen Carter. He is my right-hand man. He's been around since the second issue of the South Shore Current, and he's served in all the jobs. He's done all the roles for me, and he is
I have to
currently,
wash some dishes.
yeah,
I have to
well,
wash dishes. Yeah.
if we were a restaurant, you would have done it because you did everything. And so he is currently our managing editor. And he is also involved with the galleries, and because he himself is an artist representative and collector and all of those things. So welcome. Say hi to everybody, Black Butterfly.
Hi, and I'm so privileged to work with my publisher and curator. She is a wonderful woman, talented, unbelievable what she can put out in one day.
Okay, well, you see why I keep him around. So Milton, back to you, Milton. Milton is going to give us a tour of, he has 3 very prominent sculptures in the gallery right now that are just the showstoppers of the gallery. So he's going to give us a little tour of those, and he's going to also tell us some backstories on how you got into this metal work. And then after that, he'll give us a little short look around the gallery before we go to the next guest.
All right. Thank you, Lisa, very much. And welcome to the Current Media and Magazine's Black History Month celebration. I want to take a moment and thank sponsor AARP, Retired People Rule, and just welcome everybody and thank you for zooming in with us. As Lisa said, I am located at the Simon Center for the Arts at 3622 South Morgan. What I'd like to just share with you all about, especially with where we are, is just to go back for a second, right before I start in the speech. Part of our history begins in 1619 with the privateer. It was a private ship called the White Lion. It brought 20 African slaves ashore in the British colony of Jamestown, Virginia. The crew had seized Africans from the Portuguese slave ship, the Cerro Batista. And that is the beginning of our journey. The history of us being put on ships as slaves, brought to the American shores, and then our journey begins. The first piece that I'm going to share about what I'm bringing to the thing is the African warrior. The reason that I brought this piece into this is because not only were we slaves in Africa, but we were great warriors in Africa. And so this piece that I've done is just to show that this part of us, a lot of times is not shared with us. So we're over 402 years later in our history, in starting with slavery from those shores and then coming here. This rendering, as Lisa has said, is a sculpture sculpted out of diamond plate steel, stained glass, and light. This particular picture is of the African tribal or the Kenyan warriors or the Kenyan tribes, sort of like the Maasai, the Kikuyu, the Wadubi, the Wadabi, and other tribes that would paint their faces. And they would use this paint to make up their faces for rituals and celebrations. Now, this piece, as I said, it's a sculpture. It's a sculpture out of steel and stained glass. The dimensions, it's 8 feet tall. It's in an 8 feet wall because it's iron. I had to do these pieces like this because they won't fit on anybody's wall. They're kind of heavy. So it's in its own wall. It has its own situation. So just in case if someone is interested in it, we will move and place that piece. Now, as I said, the warriors here paint their faces and they join with other people of their tribe to go out and either harvest, hunt, marriage, war. And what I did was I added something so that you could see that.
Milton, can I ask you one favor?
Yeah.
Can you tell folks the history of the work with the fabrication that you work with? Many people don't understand. If they got on the IC train, Illinois Central train, it's not Illinois Central or Metro, when you walk into that first area, you are walking actually on Milton's canvas. That's
Absolutely.
what his work is made of. Just tell us a little bit about that, Milton.
Here, what I'll do is show you a better portion of the canvas of that material. As Stephen said, that if you are walking into a train, you're going to come in contact with diamond plate. That's the material. It's steel. It's something that you walk on in trains. They build it out, and I fabricated things out of it. And so what I would do is sculpture your face, cut out your face, everything that's black as steel, and then use stained glass to color your face. I came up with a process that I weld the steel to the glass. And because of that, that's how this comes out. That is just the first piece. Now, as I'm going over, I'm going to show you the second portion or the second piece in the gallery that I'm bringing. And that is the tiger. The tiger is a piece that I put together, same process. It has the steel, which is very hard. And of course, it has the glass. It's a sculptured piece and welded. The next piece and the last piece that I want to bring to your attention is of our former 44th president, Barack Obama. And I don't know if you could see that.
Got a good view, good view.
All right.
Yes.
And that's the last piece of mine that I brought to the table. And just saying that in our journey of these 402 years, is that we've been through a lot, but through the part of slavery, all the way up into the seat of the presidency of the United States, we have traveled. So we've got a lot to be proud of in our Black history and a lot of things that we need to continue to do.
There's a little secret that we might share with you. Don't go away yet. Don't go away. Stay there on the side. We want to share with you that there's a secret, it's a big secret, that at some point, Milton's work of Obama may be in consideration for the Obama Library. He has had discussions with them, and that might be something. We're really looking for a patron that would purchase this work, it's a great piece, and donate it to the Obama Library. That's one of the things that we are working on, current magazines are working on to make that happen. It's an outstanding piece. Give it back to
All right,
you.
now, if there's any questions about the art that I'm actually coming in, I'll take them. If not, I'm going to move around the gallery so that you can see the other wonderful works of other artists that are going to be represented today. And since
Yeah.
I'm here on that site, I wanted to go around and show the people more pieces. I'm going to try and pan as much as I can. Right now, I'm over in another section of ours, and I'm hoping
Yeah,
that those.
this is Akilah
Townsend.
Akilah Townsend, and we will be speaking with her later today. And Keely, we had a large exhibition last year, a juried art exhibition, and Keely won Publisher's Pick for her potential editorial value to her photographs. And actually, they are on this month's cover. So that was one thing we wanted to highlight. That's Tyler Clark. She
Right.
does mixed media with hair and fur and other things. And the cover next to her is the 5th year anniversary cover, which she covered. And we did have that piece in the gallery, but Taraji P. Henson bought it. So it's gone to a better home, I guess. But she sent us a great new one, which is awesome.
Come over here, man, grab that. Okay, this next piece is a quilt.
It's a quilt from Rendella.
Yeah.
And she does great quilt work. And if we do a Women's Month feature, we will be meeting Rendella. Rendella was supposed to meet us today, but she had some medical issue. So hopefully we'll meet her again.
The next piece that's coming up.
Well, I didn't want to say what it was.
Okay, all right.
This is Antonio Rupert, and we will be meeting her next week. Same time, same place, same link. And she is a prominent West Side artist. She actually is an artist in residence right now on the West Side of Chicago. So we will meet her next week. So be sure to come back. Same place.
Then our next piece.
That is Leslie Venado Dixon, who's actually my partner in the galleries and exhibitions, and we will meet him next week. He is an oil painter, and he has created a whole new art expression in painting.
All right, we're going to move over to the next piece. It's a rendition of the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. I don't know if you can see that very well.
And we should mention that our producer, our studio producer, Don Kelly, these are some of his pieces. These are his works that were featured in our magazine too. So shout out to Don Kelly, Don Wadsworth Kelly.
All right. Okay, we're going to continue. And our next piece.
That is the inaugural issue of the South Shore Current magazine, on oil painting by Leslie Venando Dixon called Sacks. And that is our iconic piece for South Shore Current.
All right, we're going to go to the opposite wall now to some other pieces. This is also.
That's another quilt by Rendella.
All right.
Rendella is from the what's the band? I'm sorry, the name of the historical group of Black quilters, Gee's Bend. Anyone who knows a little bit about the quilting art knows that the best quilters are in a place called Gee's Bend. I just want to give you that note.
Our next piece.
Okay, you can back up so we can see both of those. That is Sebron Grant, who is currently trying to join us. He's having a little technical difficulty, but both of those pieces, Marvin Gaye and Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
And he won the Current Arts Award, which is the grand prize of the exhibition last year. He received 3 covers on the magazine and a cover story written by BlackButterfly and a professional photo shoot. Yeah, we are going to
Okay, I'm going to continue. All right, the next piece.
That is Kenneth Johnson. He's a photographer. He does colorization, lifestyle pieces.
And there's a light that's flashing off of it. The light here is giving a, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna move right around. Okay, of course, we've covered the tiger already, so I'm gonna cover these pieces here. Can you see these pieces?
Yeah, that's Val. She's a paper artist. And I hope to see her in Women's Month, a feature. And she does everything from paper, cut paper, and they're turned into beautiful greeting cards and everything like that. And she's been on several covers, actually.
Our next piece, I think I can like this one.
Right. So you can back up a little because these next pieces are David Anthony Geary, who is with us today. And these are
David.
Yes, these are from his Great Migration series, and we'll talk more in depth about these later. You could scoot over. All of those pieces next to it are part of that series.
All right. Can you see those?
Mm-hmm.
These are part of the Great Migration series that David was featured at Blanc Gallery back in 2016 during the anniversary, the 100-year anniversary of the Great Migration. I probably, like other folks here, parents came up to Chicago. Mine came up in 1913 in the Great Migration, one of the first waves. Go ahead.
All right. So we're going to go on and take it out into the other gallery. There's some other pieces.
Yeah, we just want to take one.
Oh, wait. We have one piece that wasn't here.
Yeah, that is from one of our anniversary covers also, the 4th anniversary by Leslie Bernardo Dixon.
That looks like one of the futuristic pieces.
Yeah.
And then the next two pieces here.
And this is an incredible photographer named Tony Smith, who does, I don't know if we can see him good because of the glare, but he does awesome black and whites of almost everyone.
Is that better?
Anybody. Mm-hmm.
Is that better?
And we will be meeting him next week.
His work is currently, I think, still on display at Mariano's at 38 and King Drive.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one of his pieces. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go into the other part of the gallery where we have a couple of more pieces that are here.
Yeah, if you can back up maybe a little bit, those are part of the series too. And he's going to give us a little background and history on those.
How's that?
Wonderful.
Looks good. Looks good.
And there's another one on the other side also.
Our audience should know, if you look at the gallery, you see there's a lot of space that we have. So when you are practicing social distance in our galleries, keep it there. You have an idea. We have probably some of the biggest space for any art gallery in Chicago. We're in the Bridgeport Triangle for the art world. Bridgeport Triangle, right off of 35th and Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you saw that? Everything's good?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna head back into this gallery hall here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is about it. I appreciate everybody tuning in.
So hang around a little bit with Milton and we may come back with some questions for you.
That sounds like a winner.
We introduced you today to one of my favorite young artists, a woman who has started in another career, and I'll let her tell you a little bit about that. But she's one of these self-made artists who has learned a lot on her own, but also is learning from some of the mentors in the art world too. Akilah, are you available?
Yes, I'm available.
Hey, there she is.
Akilah.
Hi, everybody.
Akilah, tell us a little bit about your background and we'll move into how you got into the world of photography.
Okay, so my background actually is in science. I went to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and I studied environmental policy. And about, I want to say, 2.5 or 3 years ago, my friend had a digital camera and she didn't know how to use it. And I was like, oh, I'll teach you. And in the time where I was teaching her how to use her own digital camera, I learned and I really loved it. And I just began shooting from there. And so now I work part-time photo, and I also work as an environmental consultant.
So what are your main, Akilah, what are some of the main things you like to focus on? Is it still life? Is it portraiture? What combination of things do you like?
So my favorite thing to shoot is definitely people, definitely specifically Black people. I love shooting my environment. I love shooting my friends. Those are the photo shoots that I get most excited about. Those types of assignments when I'm shooting people that I'm most familiar with and I find the most beautiful, and that's Black people. Funny. I was one of my friends is very talented. He's a creative. He asked me to create some photos for him to use for his brand. And so like I was saying, I love shooting Black people, and the things that I know is just the South Side. That's where I'm from. So I went out to Inglewood and I just was sitting in my car looking for beautiful businesses and just the area, just looking for things to shoot, sort of in a street photography kind of way. And I saw this woman riding on a bicycle coming from up the street. And so I got my camera ready as quickly as I could. And it was a film camera. So I'm sure a lot of people in here know all about film cameras that we used to use back in the day. And it's not that easy to do very quickly, but I was lucky enough to get this shot and I absolutely love it. It really spoke to me. The fact that she's in all red, the fact that she is in this very, well-known and beautiful rundown building, the Leon's Barbecue. I think it's on about 69th Street.
Yes.
So I just really love this photo, and it's something in her, in the way that she's looking, like determined, and she's a woman on a mission going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really spoke to me in that photo, and so I think that's why it's like one of my favorite things that I've shot, because it was so in the moment, and it's kind of.
It was a favorite of mine too. That's what caught our eye and what we brought it to Lisa's attention. You got one more in the corner there, Milton, that up first. Did we get them all? Oh, that's the one young lady on the car. Okay, that was a beautiful. That makes a nice fashion shot too.
And I can show those images a bit better from my side, from my.
All right.
So.
All right.
Go ahead, make that transition.
You just let me know. We're ready?
Don?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen.
All right.
You ready? All right. Can you guys see?
There we go.
Well, that's a
Here's
good,
the woman on the bicycle. So now you get a better image of what's going on in the photo.
Yeah,
This is Chicago, South Side, Inglewood, 69th Street. And I'm just sitting in a car, and I just so happened to look up and see this woman in this mono red outfit with her red sunglasses.
Wish we could bring that sunshine and warmth in now. What about the other two?
So I just have a kind of a slideshow.
Yes, do that.
Yeah, let's see.
All right, let's see. Oh, it's the woman in the car. Okay. So this is a friend of mine. Her name is Akilah. She's a model. And this was, I want to say, my very first photo shoot. This is where I had an idea. And I have a friend, my friend Jessica. She knew someone who had this car, and I told her exactly what I wanted, and we just put this shoot together. And so it was funny that it happened like this. But yeah, so that's one of my images, very stylized. I'm interested in portraiture, photography, and editorial photography, also photojournalism. And so this is kind of a blend of my portraiture and fashion editorial photography.
We would say that she is one of the emerging artists in the area of photography, fine art. You're going to hear a lot about Akilah, so keep this in mind. You'll see her at our gallery too. We're going to move on to the next person now. I think we're ready for David. David Anthony Geary, can we get you on?
Hey, everybody.
There you are, one of my favorite artists in life, period. But there you go, there you go. David, let's jump right into the inspiration for the Great Migration series. And first of all, David is a graduate of Xavier University, New Orleans, and Master's in Fine Arts down there, is that correct?
Bachelor.
And tell us about the Great Migration series, and then about that coffee thing that we want to talk about too.
Oh, sure. So, quick synopsis. I'm a visual artist. I consider myself transdisciplinary, which basically means I work in a variety of mediums. My work is centered around the human experience and human expression. This image that we're starting with is actually a view of my old studio. When I would do an open studio, very salon style, I would sort of create a wall that would show the scope of some of my two-dimensional work. And so that's what you're seeing here. I'm about 25 years into my career as an artist. One of the things that's been sort of an integral part of my process and my career has been education. This image is actually from a workshop that I did at for Black History Month a few years back at the Art Institute of Chicago, which was sort of a large scale project where I got to teach my printmaking method which allows for printmaking to be done at home without some of the expensive equipment that is usually associated with it. So I got to do that workshop with a lot of the folks that came through the Art Institute of Chicago. What Stephen mentioned earlier, the Great Migration series is my largest project to date. In 2016 was the centennial anniversary of the beginning of the Great Migration. So between 1916 and 1960, about 6 million Black folks moved from the rural South throughout the country. And they kind of moved in three big chunks over that period of time. And so what was happening in our culture at the same time was sort of the birth of photography as a medium that common folk had access to. And so through the Library of Congress, donated images, found images, I started to chronicle the way people were capturing their lives and experiences through the Great Migration. That project ended up being about 100 works of art, 33 paintings, 66 prints, and a mixed media piece. Here is an image where you can see some of the inspiration and how they turned into works of art. So we got a World War I soldier, and a Black flapper girl who were both part of, that piece of history in America's American experience. The piece on the left is actually the initial piece that began this whole project, and that is a Library of Congress image. You may have seen it before, and this is my own sort of interpretation of this family that was ready for the road. And so they were literally having all of their belongings strapped to their car, and that family on the road moving north. They were one of the families that were fortunate enough to actually own a car and be able to have the kind of mobility that allowed them to take all of their belongings as they move north.
Quick question for you, David.
Sure.
I noticed in this series, you have birds a part of almost every image.
Yes, every image has the bird in it. The birds sort of became a symbolic reference to the freedom of movement and avatar for the people who are on the migration. So in some of the individual portraits, you will see a much more detailed bird that has, as in this example, the one that's on his right shoulder, or on his left shoulder, I'm sorry, it's on the right side of the image. That is much more personal and in character with the portrait. And then on the left side, you see the group or flock of birds, imagining all of the families that are in migration. And it's a parallel between the ideas of bird migrations north to south, how we generally think of them, and the great migration of Black folks from south to north. And so it was a way of sort of paralleling these things that I found interesting at that period in my career.
This is not a perfect segue into that, but can you tell us about, there's a place downtown that is exhibiting some of your murals in some place in Englewood.
Sure. I can jump through. So downtown, there are, so in the top left and bottom right corner are images of works that I have at the Chicago Starbucks Roastery. It's the largest Starbucks in the world.
Did you say it's the largest Starbucks in the world?
Yes.
And this young Black man has got his work in the largest Starbucks in the world?
Yes.
That says a lot.
And it was a really great project. I've been in relationship with Starbucks now for almost a decade. And most recently, I've been doing some larger scale projects for them. I've done 3 in Chicago and in progress on a 4th. And so I designed the first siren of color. The siren is sort of their mascot is a word they would not like, but it's sort of their iconic symbol is the siren. You see her on all of their things, and she gets to be interpreted for each roastery by the artist that they choose.
And you have one in Inglewood too, right?
Yes. So the Inglewood Starbucks is pictured here, and some of my more abstract and iconographic work is what is pictured in this one. So in the Inglewood community, it's the first community Starbucks. Its intent was to create a sort of a usable workspace for folks in the Inglewood community as a part of community development and enrichment in the community. And they commissioned me to do these 3 pieces as a part of it. And I incorporated
one other piece I want you to address, and that's the piece of Ida B. Wells. Can you tell us a little bit about that and where it is?
So pictured here so I have 2 Chicago landmarkers. So the Ida B. Wells is the top left. If you're familiar with Ida B. Wells, she had a good chunk of her history was here in Chicago. There was a housing projects that were named after her, and it was a huge part of Chicago's Black community. That buildings no longer exist. And as a major landmark, they decided to put this stone monument and bronze plaque at the corner of 36th and King Drive, which is where one of the buildings were for that housing project. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Ida B. Wells and her work as a suffragette and an anti-lynching activist.
David, I know that you've been waiting for this to share the spotlight with one of your buddies, Sebron.
Yeah.
And let's segue from David. Anything else you want to say before we segue to your friend?
I just wanted to say thank you guys for inviting me to be a part of it. And it feels really great. And I look forward to that.
Now, Lisa gets this back because she wanted to introduce Sebron. Go ahead, Lisa.
I did. Okay, so Sebron is a very prolific artist. And not just in number, but in types of medium that he works in. And he is a self-taught artist who started as a very young child, and he could tell us about that, drawing on walls, I understand. Anyway, he has can take us through we're gonna go to his home where he has a studio and workshop, and he's gonna let us take a peek at how his different types of art. Don, if you could bring Sebron in and unmute him.
While you're bringing him in, I want to say this. He is a former Marine.
Yeah.
Who did work, some of his original work was for his commanding officers and doing portraiture for the commanding officer's wife. You can get more background about that too. But I have one other thing to say about you. This man worked his way through art school doing different self-made artists. But while he was working full-time at the Ford plant on Torrance, he was raising a family, working full-time and doing his artwork because he loved it. Sebron, go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Yes, as you said, I started at a very young age drawing on walls and whatnot, getting whippings, but I just had to draw on something and I didn't know anything about paper. So I just drew on what I could draw on, and I just stuck with it. It just amazed me. I started off with cartoons in the funny papers, and back when I was a child, the funny papers were just in black and white, but I still loved Mickey Mouse and all them. Yeah, I started back that far, and then when I found I got good enough, I didn't have to look at the pictures anymore. I could draw them because I remembered how they looked. So That's how the
Raise
whole
your hand if you did funny papers. Anybody in the audience know about the funny paper?
most people
Is that
don't know what
me?
I'm talking about. Yeah.
Mhm.
But moving on, I've tried many media. I like to bounce around. I don't like to stay on one thing too long because I'm a hyperactive. So I move around in pretty big circles, maybe 5 or 6 different media I work in. I just love to express myself in different media. But I'm trying to do the same thing others are trying to do too, just to be recognized for my talent and this God-given gift. I just want to spread it around. So our first picture
pieces before we get too far, because
yeah, well, let's look at a few things because we're gonna have to do our raffle in a minute. And Sebron, we have a great print, which is right behind Stephen, that we're gonna raffle off at the end of the night. So
good.
Yeah. So let's go. And a t-shirt, we sure do. As well as we have some posters, we have some commemorative mugs that we'll be giving away. So we want to hurry up and get to that in about
3 minutes.
7 minutes. 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
So Sebron, let's go down. Can we go downstairs and take a look at some pieces?
Okay, I have 3 pieces that I want to show you real quick before we leave. I'm upstairs.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, this is a room you never came into, Lisa, but Stephen has. First of all is my Reflections of Africa 1 series. This is mirror, screws, making up a woman's face from the Omo Valley in Ethiopia, and all of these are going to be on the mounted on the continent of Africa in wood. So that's the first piece.
Move it over a little bit so we can get a better shot of it. Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, how's that?
Okay, a little bit more.
Back up.
He's gonna fall up the stairs if he backs up. Don't have him fall down the stairs. That's good.
Let's not fall up. Let's not fall.
No, I'm in the bedroom right now. I am hitting the step yet. Okay, my second picture is music, Queen of My Soul. This is really a photo about, I say, a good 60 years old that the WVON had when WVON was really popular back in the 60s. This was on the front cover of their only album. And I just happened to dig it out because I always have loved that woman. I dug it out of my old album collection and went on and blew it up and went on and I had to do it. And I paint exclusively in acrylics. I don't use oils anymore. I haven't used oil since the 70s.
Moving on. You got tired of working with the oils and prefer the acrylic, is that correct?
Well, I'm hyperactive, and you see, oils might take 6 months to dry, but acrylics doesn't take but 20 minutes to dry. So, it worked perfect for me.
So you can sell it faster too, right?
Yes, and I'm going to school at night. I'm going to working nights at Ford and painting assignments for Chicago State. I had to have something that dried fast. So when the critics came on the scene, I jumped on it.
Very
okay.
Good.
All right. Now my third piece I have. This is a slip cast ceramic piece. This is of the Ndebele woman from South Africa. She's on the northern tip of South Africa, her tribe. And you know it's her because she's got the brass rings around her neck. This is a slip cast piece. This is the piece I made out of ceramic, and I made a mold of it. That way I can always have duplicates of this. But every time I do another one, it's always a different color, different style, different everything. But it's the same woman.
What's it called, Sebron? What's she called?
Called the Ndebele woman. It's Ndebele. That's a tribe in northern South Africa. Northern tip of South Africa. That's where they are.
It's my understanding, Sebron, that one of your talents too, you do a lot of framing for people too. You might frame some of their works or reframe their works. Is that correct?
That when I'm not doing any artwork, that's my bread and butter. So okay.
2 minutes to raffle. 2 minutes to raffle.
Okay.
I thought you always do artwork, Sebron.
Moving on downstairs in the hallway. This 30 by 40 acrylic painting is called Chive Talking, because these are actually chives. Okay.
That's the chives you put on your salad?
Yes.
All right.
This is the way they look when you pick them. But this particular person took them, picked them, and put them in a big gallon jar and set them out in the backyard to let the sun brew them, just like you do tea. Okay, moving on. I've got this one. This next piece here is called Oscalypso. I was attracted to this picture just because of the joy she had in her face and the way she was dancing.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to another slip cast ceramic piece. This is called.
I think here you got some T-shirts for it too.
Yeah,
That's the one we have a T-shirt for. So we're gonna raffle out.
Somebody's gonna win this tonight.
Good, good, good. Okay, now this is one of my very few experiments in abstract. I think abstractly, but I just don't paint abstractly. I try to paint, you know, I'm more of a realist than anything in the world. And this is my picture I did just last summer of George Floyd.
Started history and rehistory again. Go ahead, talk about that piece.
All right, all right. Then this is. I also have this image on T-shirts. Okay, moving on. We got to move on here. This is called Last Dance. This was the dancer that we had for
Step
some
back so we see the rest of it. Step back so we see the rest of it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm descending now. But this is the lady that I painted. She was a modern dancer that we had at one of our art shows when I was a member of the group, Raw, Real Artists, Real Artwork, rather. And it was we used to have our art shows on Parkway Ballroom, 44th and King Drive. We did it for about 5 straight years before the group broke up. But we had a very good time though, and had a nice following too. Now this piece way up top, it may be hard to see because of the glare.
The light is kind of clear.
Alvin Ailey, the late great. Okay, we got Sir Duke on the other side of the wall in acrylic, Duke Ellington. Now this is the mirror piece I have here of Kenta Kunte.
Yeah, that's what I'm familiar with. Sebron first was his mirrored work, and I had no idea that he did so many other type of medium.
Oh yeah, and this is called In His Own Image. I did this years ago.
We should tell our audience that many of these pieces with Sebron's working with the other artists are for sale, and we can talk.
Well, everything you see is for sale. Everything you see is for sale.
Don't tell them that; they'll be running down to your house now.
That's okay. I have no problem with that. I love blank walls because that inspires me to do more work. Okay, here's a piece here called Dawn acrylic. That's one of my collaborations with ceramic and mirror. And last of all, in the hallway, this is my girl Beyonce. I call her Blue Diva.
Okay. Can you show one of my favorites, the Renaissance Entrepreneur? Is that
Renaissance Vendor? Yeah, she's coming up. She's coming up very soon. Okay. I'm finally in the basement. This is called Ticket to Ride. Modern Dances. When I first saw it, I had it popped in my head as soon as I saw this photo. But it was in black and white, of course. I love to colorize things.
You named it well, too.
Well, you know, like I said, it just come to me naturally. Now, okay, here my latest art form is my screws and my nails and my carpet text. This is Marvin Gaye.
So you actually use screws for that, to make that up?
Screws here, see? Just accidentally, I tried that out because I've been wanting to do something like this for years. And I found out how uniquely it resembles Black people's hair, the texture of Black people's hair. So I went crazy with this once I found out how, you know, once I saw how I liked it, you know.
Step back so we can see that one more. I like to see that hair. Show that hair a little bit more. The one on the, just to the other side of Marvin.
Okay, this is Lauren Hill.
Okay.
This is the way I actually showed it on my video when I first showed it on Facebook.
Step back.
From the side, and then I just panned over and let everybody see all the screw work and how it really turned into a face with the mirror. So that was the way I did Lauren Hill.
I think that's going to be our signal.
Okay, can we real quickly just take one look at the piece that you gave us the print for, the Black History piece?
Okay, you're talking about right here.
Yeah,
Eiffel
right
Tower.
there. Can you give us a little background on that?
Yes, this guy was around, I'll say he existed around the 17 and 1800s, and he was around Colorado, Washington, and California. He was in that area over Northwest. And this was a very unique black man because he would not let anybody white call him a nigger. You had to fight him.
Like him.
If you called him a nigger to his face. That's why, hence, you see a gun here, gun there, and a doggone Springfield rifle. This guy was a nasty guy. And whenever, and it was rumored that whenever he ran short of cattle, he would just go and rustle some more. Yeah, he kept his cattle stock up, and when he ran short, he just went and took some more. Stole them. And the rumor is the Sundance Kid killed him. I think it wasn't clear whether he argued over a woman, whether they were arguing over a woman or a liquor or a debt. But yeah, the rumor is the Sundance Kid killed him, Butch Cassidy's buddy.
Well, listen, for sure, you got a bunch of stories that we could tell, some narratives. We're going to get you back again, but we've got some things to raffle off. Okay, show that one quick. That's one of my favorites.
This is my Renaissance vendor right here.
Yes.
This was taken by the first Black female photographer. This was one of her first shots. And she took it in Savannah, Georgia, back in the 1800s.
Very good, very good.
So next week, we're gonna, let's see. I can share my screen now. Okay, so I'm gonna share with you the flyer for next week on the screen. But it is the exact same login from last week. And so next week we'll have Lassie V. Dixon, we'll have Fahim Majid, Arthur Roby, who's a youth painter,
young emerging artists.
Antonia Rupert, she's the West Side artist in residence, photographer Tony Smith. Plus, a real treat will be in the home of collector Dan Parker.
That is like a museum to see some.
Yes, like a museum itself.
It's phenomenal. You'll want to be here next week to see Dan's work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this has been amazing. And I love these Zooms. I love figuring all of this out. This is not a technology that I know, but it's a really awesome experience for us all to be able to come and sort of share in this experience with one another. Yeah. And I'd like to thank everybody who came out, and happy Black History Month.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And I want to thank our publisher, Lisa Dawn Taylor, for putting this together, not only the magazine, but now she's expanded into the art galleries, but now also to the electronic world of Zoom.
And it's a fantastic evening. Thank you all so very much for your passion, your energies, and your dedication to the arts. I've always said that you artists are the ones that remind us of our humanity.
Yes.
When anyone studies their history or their culture, they look at their art. And thank all of you for helping us to remember and maintain our heritage and our culture. Thank you.